I'll do significantly fewer, ladies, gentlemen, and others. It's me, Winston Charmaine, and I'm making a video today. I'm not going to put any Ko-fi ads or anything in this one. I'm just going to put this straight on the channel because quite a few people have unsubscribed since Friday, since my not exactly glowing review of the Even in Arcadia album, and then yesterday's video where I basically just compared it unfavourably to EP 1 and 2. And I feel like people unsubscribing is kind of on me. Looking at the comments, there appears to be some I just haven't made myself clear enough, I don't think, because that's what I'm going to try and clear up today. I feel like maybe it's just felt to people like I listened to Even Arcadia, went, oh, this is shit, and then listened to the EPs and went, oh, this is great, without really explaining why I feel like that, and what I feel like the differences are, and what I feel like has deteriorated for me in their sound. So I'll go through and try and explain that today as best I can. With some auditory and visual aids on the screen. But yeah, I feel like there's a few things to clear up before we start. I think some people are taking it that I hate Even in Arcadia. I don't. If I didn't like it, like I gave it a 68 in the end out of 100. If I thought it was even on the scale of bad, it would be a below 50, because that's how a 100-point scale should work, really. If it's 50, should be bang average. So if it's worse than average, it should be below that. 68 means it's definitely above average. It's better than okay, but it's not quite good. It's somewhere. It's like decent, really, is what I think of it. And I kind of stand by that, really, because I think the opener and the closer are really good. I think all three singles are good songs, and the rest are kind of, apart from Past Self sucks. Sorry, we'll get on to that in a bit. But I think the other things I'm seeing a lot in the comments are people saying two things. One, that I just liked it when it was heavier, because I'm a metal guy, which is true. I am a rock metal guy, but I'm a bit more than rock metal guy, I think. I think I've shown I'm a bit of a pop guy, which I didn't really know I was until like a year or two ago. But also this Winston Charmaine name started as a podcast host for like a synthwave synth pop podcast, so my tastes are a bit all over the place. But I would argue that Even in Arcadia, the heavy sections in Even in Arcadia are some of, if not the heaviest sections that Sleep Token have ever had. But then the flip side of that, that kind of comment, that kind of criticism of me, is that you just don't like it now that it's more R&B focused, and there may well be a truth to that, because much as my music taste is quite eclectic and let's be honest, a bit scattershot, a bit all over the place, R&B, modern R&B, admittedly isn't something that I particularly vibe with, and that is more prominent on this album than any of the previous ones. But R&B elements have been there in Sleep Token since EP2. It's just that back then they were woven in to a song in a way that made them part of the overall song, rather than what it is now, which is a segment in a rock song or something. It used to be, let's get on to point one, we might as well, because it's leading me in there. It used to be cohesive. You're going to hear me say that word a lot. So, Dark Signs, for example, from Sundowning. I think most of you who are bothering to watch this video will know this song. I've just realised I mistyped it in the search bar when I searched for it. That's fun. It's good that it still came up. Anyway, so Dark Signs. So we begin. I forgot how loud I have my headphones. I just made myself jump an absolute mile, then I completely lost my train of thought. In fact, let's turn it down. This is more of a discussion. It's not a reaction to the music. I'll turn it down in my ears. It's louder in my ears than it is on the video, I think. I hope. It might not be. But yeah, we start with this kind of... It's very much... I don't even know what you call it. It's just a sub bass and a really distorted high vocal with a bit of a beat, bit of a drum beat with it as well. And that's where Vessel does the sing rapping for verse 1. And then for verse 2,
if you saw the marks on my
Definitely more of a kind of trap beat, more of a modern R&B beat. But it's just the same thing, but it's been escalated. And then for the end of the song, we essentially just do the same thing again, but now with guitars. It's the same notes, it's the same cadence, it's the same song. It's just elevating from this weird ambient space into this rapping hip-hop space into this rock metal space. It's almost like, and I might have said this before about Sleep Token, I can't remember, but I remember hearing years and years ago something about musical theatre, where in musical theatre, and in a musical, stage musical, the idea is that you speak until you can no longer speak and you must sing, and you sing until you can no longer sing and you must dance. And I feel like that's how Sleep Token used to approach these kind of moves between the songs. So it starts off somber and quiet until I can't do that anymore, I need more in it, and then so we elevate into that kind of, the harsher beat, the bigger sounds, and then when we can no longer do that, when that's not enough anymore either, we bring in the guitars. And that works, I think. I think that really, that's what genre blending should be. Because it's not just doing multiple genres in a song, it's blending multiple genres together in a song. And even on an album that I do criticise as well, Take Me Back to Eden, the title track is the best example of this in Sleep Token's discography. They do it brilliantly here. Because we have this, though there's 3 sections, 3 verse-chorus sections, they're all the same, but they're all different. So in the first one we have this kind of nature sounds with the kind of the lone guitar and the weird kind of pads giving us ambience in the background. And then for the chorus section, it just gets a little bit darker, but it stays in the same place. And then from there, we of course go into the more. Oh no, we go heavy first, don't we? And then we go for the second verse into a bit more of a kind of modern R&B, trap beat, hip hop vibe. And so then the second chorus is in that style. And then the third chorus is like a ballad. No, third verse even is like a ballady verse. And the guitars come in. And so then we do a chorus for the third time. And it's in that feel and style. And then even when we get towards the end and it's just... it all flows because it's the same kind of notes, it's the same kind of... it's the same song, it's just done in different ways and it moves through them smoothly in a way that's satisfying to listen to, in a way that's rewarding to listen to. Gethsemane. I've intentionally picked this one because it's one that a lot of people seem to be saying is their favourites, and quite frankly it's one of the better ones, the ones I like more. But I don't think you can argue that what is true for these two is true for this, because it doesn't really. Let's listen. So my internet in this room is terrible. if it has to buffer, I apologise. I really shouldn't record things here. I should move and record somewhere else, but this is where my desk is for work, so it's just... I'm not going to set up somewhere else, not at my desk, am I? So, anyway. So we start quite quietly. And then by the time we get to vocals come in, it's very soft, it's very somber. It's kind of a guitar with a... sounds like a bit of like a Rhodes piano. If I'm wrong, tell me. I'm not that good with different types of keys, really. But then... after we do that section, we then go into... there we go. We then go into this, and that does flow because it feels the same. Kind of. And then we drop out into this. And then by like 4 minutes... have I gone too far? I think I might have gone too far. I did warn you, I'm sorry. Yeah, there we go. We have this heavy riff, but what has that riff got to do with anything over here? It's just completely different. And then, pause please, and then we get to all the way over here. This is just like a different song, isn't it? That's in no way even related to anything that's come before. And I know what people are saying, like, Take Me Back to Eden, the album, did that too. Are you going to give me the summoning on the right-hand side here? No, I'll search for it then. But people, the obvious argument to that is, the summoning did that. But no, it didn't, because the summoning, again, it was cohesive, how it moved to that point. I should have had this up and loaded already, because I kind of figured I was going to talk about it. But yeah, people would probably try and argue that, where we drop out of the heavy instrumental into this part, and then eventually end up here, that's a completely different ending. But it's not. It ties itself back to the previous part of the song by literally going back to the previous part of the song like this. No, like... like this. I missed us where we were. But it ties itself back, and that makes it feel like, even though it is a very different section to what was over here, like there, for example. Like, there's not a lot of musical cohesion there, but at least the lyrics do us the favour of tying it back, And on even in Arcadia, they just don't seem that interested in doing that, and it just does feel like a lot of completely different parts just all kind of pushed together. Gethsemane maybe wasn't the best example I could have chose, but I intentionally, I didn't want to choose Past Self because I feel like I've ragged on that enough, and I'm about to again. But yeah, that's kind of where I feel let down in a musical sense. My other two issues that I have are both lyrical. The first being lyrical economy, and the second being, for lack of a better term, like an enigmatic presence. So lyrical economy, let's start with that. So Fields of Elation, I talked about it yesterday. This song has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. It repeats some, but there are only 7 different lines. And with these 7 lines in a 4.5 minute song, they say so much. Like 7 in 4.5 minutes is what, effectively one new line every 40 seconds? 4.5 minutes, if it was every 30 seconds, it'd be 9. So yeah, it's probably about a new line every 40 seconds or so. And it says so much, and it tells such a story, and it's so concise and succinct. Like, the daylight we see in unison, this room buries the hours like death in motion. We're depressed. Like, that's depression. That's you don't notice the time passing because you're so deep in it. And this room that you stay in buries these hours like death in motion. Like, we are already dead, but we're still moving. Like, we're effectively dead. We're the living dead. Says so much, and it's so succinct, and it's so beautiful, and it's so powerful, and it makes you have to think about it to unpack what it's saying. Nobody else can pull me out. Who are we talking about? Are we talking about ourselves? Only we can pull ourselves out of this depression? The fields of elation, quiet and loamy. So the fields where I could grow my happiness currently don't have anything in them. They're quiet. But loamy, it means like fertile. The soil is ready. I just need to put something in it. Your name is a sin I breathe like oxygen, caught in the careless arms of lust again. It's so well put, and it works. It hits so hard. So nobody else can pull me out. No, it's not about us. It is about someone else. Your name is a sin I breathe like oxygen. I shouldn't want you, but I do, and I can't live without you. Caught in the careless arms of lust again. I know that what I feel is lust and not love. And I know you don't feel the same about me. Your arms are careless. You won't necessarily catch me or hold me. But I can't help myself. Because nobody else other than you can pull me out. It's you that needs to plant the seeds in my fields of elation. And then we have that repeated refrain, and then I'm losing my faith in our lives apart. I can no longer see me and you not being together, being successful. I need you. It's fucking wonderful. The writing, like, less is more, really, really rings true with this. It's so well written, and it's so, I don't know, it's like crushing, and it's the empty space between each line just gives you that moment to let it sink in what he's saying and what he's feeling. Past Self. This song is a minute shorter than Fields of Elation, but look at all this. 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and it says, well, it speaks a lot, and it doesn't say as much, I don't think, as this, personally. Honestly, I think when I did my reaction, I think I pointed to this line, because this is at the point where it's like Redacted is trying to come to terms with the differences between himself and this character he created of himself. And what everything in this song is kind of just summed up in the first line. Are you going to dance on the line with me? It's like, can we coexist? And then that's kind of all of this is saying. Like, it doesn't really say anything else. It's just more that. It just in a really verbose, wordy way. Lyrical economy. I feel like this did a much better job with far fewer words of conveying a story and a meaning that is emotional and impactful than this did with a lot of words. That's, if I'm honest, as someone like, I'm a big writer nerd. I write poetry for fun. I have a degree in creative writing. The writing is the main thing I love about Sleep Token. And I feel like their writing is much worse now than it used to be. And another example of that is in how it's like Sleep Token, they are vessels for an ancient god. That's their gimmick. That's what they would have us believe that they are. That's what they are performing as. And their lyrics used to fit with that cohesiveness, with that lyrical economy. They used to put together, look how few lines there are in this as well. Like, how long of a song is Jericho? I don't have it up on my screen anymore. I think it's like 6 or 7 minutes, isn't it? It's a long song. And this is all it says. And it's so well put together. And it's so weird. Like, it's not the way people talk. And for some people that might be a criticism, but for a band that are portraying themselves the way Sleep Token portray themselves, it's kind of how they should be, really. Like, tread, ancient water, salt like I sink down like precious stones. What the fuck does that mean? Like, I'm the lyrical breakdown guy. I'm not entirely sure what that means. So, treading water, ancient water, salt. So, I would just take that to mean that it's, obviously it's metaphorical, but the ancient leads me to believe it's sleep. So he's immersed himself in her, and he's sinking down like a precious stone, like the Titanic precious stone that in the film. I mean, so he's sinking into her waters, but he's tiny in comparison to it. And then, I talked about this line yesterday, fuck, it's good. Until I wake, I dine on old encounters until you taste like new flesh. That's insane. That's an insane way of talking about the fact that we're apart now, but I still dream about the memories and the previous times that we shared together. And I dream about them so much that they feel like new again. Oh my god. The lust expressed in this and this is insane. And that's probably what this is about, actually. It's probably his memories and his dreams that he's sinking into. And then fold secrets in the sweat like I swallow years beneath this bed. So, like, he's still in the bed where they had all of these memories. And it's like he can fold himself into those memories and still taste the sweat from all those times before. And that kind of ties us into the salty water as well, because, sweat is kind of salty. And then there's something in the way you lay enough to make the dead switch graves. That is just a bit of a sex jam line, but fuck, it works in this context. And then my hands are not worthy. And they still haven't corrected my lyric from yesterday, but hopefully they will. My hands are not worthy is the refrain. Ending with, it doesn't end with my hands are not worthy, it ends with my hands are. Like, he can't finish it by the end. He's that in awe. It's just amazing how, like, bitterly romantic this is. And it speaks of lust and love in a way that a song like, say, Provider just absolutely cannot pull off, because it's just roll or die, you bet I'm a rider. Your outer shell, your secret insider. It's a fun rhyme, but again, look at all the words. There's so many words. They used to be so economical, and now, because you've been hitting my phone so hard, I found it breathing through a tube in the ICU. Yeah, I see you, the only bad body spinning eyes in the room, the only good girl this side of the moon. Like, these are Drake bars. Like, it's just not good. And again, like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm in the wrong, okay, but would you feel turned on if someone expressed this to you? Because if you would, I mean, fair enough, but not for me. I'd be like, I just cringe off, you creep. But like, if someone expressed, there's something in the way you lay enough to make the dead switch graves, I can't lie, that'd get it done for me much better than this would. And again, there's just something obtuse about it. There's something enigmatic about it that just fits with the idea of a masked band who are pertaining to be the vessels of a deity. Whereas this just sounds like a dude in a nightclub. So, yeah, to summarise, the reason I feel that Sleep Token aren't as good now as they were, and you can disagree with this if you want, I'm not saying these as facts, I'm not saying you're wrong if you disagree with me, I'm not saying you're right if you agree with me. These are all just my opinions, these are how I feel. But I feel like they've lost the cohesiveness in their genre blending. Well, I don't feel like they do blend genres anymore. I feel like they just do several genres, like one after another. I feel like they've lost how concise and meaningful their lyrics used to be. And I feel like they've lost their identity, the enigma that made them intriguing. And now they're just kind of another bunch of dudes. They may as well take the masks off now, if they're going to be talking about hitting my phone so hard. Yeah, it just doesn't work for me in the same way. It just doesn't hit the same. And hopefully now I've done a better job of explaining it. If you're unsubscribed and unsubscribed for good, that's fine. I understand that. The other criticism I've been seeing of me lately in comments is like, oh, I'm playing the YouTube game more now, like clickbait titles and thumbnails and making shorts and stuff. And I'm sorry, but yeah, like I've had this channel for years, and other than that one video that like 150,000 of you have watched about Sleep Token, everything else I would do would get. I might as well explain this now. I made exploring the concept videos because I loved it. I loved making them, but it takes weeks of writing. Well, the recording part doesn't take long, but the writing takes ages. The editing, it takes ages. And for me to do that, to then get 200 views, it's just not economical use of my time and effort. Not that I'm particularly trying to make money off this, but if I'm going to put in that kind of effort, I would like for people to watch it. And like the Holding Absence, exploring the concept, that took me ages. one of the only comments on it is from the lead singer Lucas, and it's like there's hardly any views on it. Like I took ages over the Linkin Park one for From Zero, and that's on like 200 views. But then the thing is, sometimes I can sit here and just listen to a Taylor Swift album for a couple of hours and get 15,000 views, and so it's like, why would I? It's like, it's discouraging, you know. And this way, the content doesn't take me as long. I can still put thought into it. I can still put my personality into it. I can still put my opinions into it. But it doesn't need weeks of writing and editing. So, yeah, this is the way I'm going with the channel now. And I think it's for the better. And if you don't and you want to unsubscribe, that's fine. That's okay. I don't mind. Yeah, that'll do. So, until the future. No, wait. Need to do another thing first. From me, I'll get good at this one day. From me, Rustin Charmaine, and from my channel founder, Trin Exists, on Ko-fi. Check out the Ko-fi. Until the future, drive safe.